All right, here we go. Welcome to the Blairstown Township Committee meeting for Thursday, January 18th, 2024. Get an opening roll call, please, Kristen.
Mrs. Lance. Here. Mr. Lumen.
Here.
Mr. McIntosh.
Here.
Mr. Orcott.
Here.
Mayor Moorhead.
Here. All please rise for the salute to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231, setting forth the time, date, place, and purpose of this public meeting through a legal notice published in the New Jersey Herald and/or the express times following the Township's annual reorganization meeting, at which the 2024 meeting schedule was adopted. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a very chilly night in Blairstown. We will open up the meeting with any public comments. Our public comments section open now. If anyone has anything to bring before us. That's a pretty light crowd. I was expecting like the drinks being poured in the back and nothing. It's just this is going to bother me. Okay. Seeing no public comments, we will close the public comment portion of the meeting. And I don't know how to use that. Please stop that. Just keep turning it. Department head reports for the month of November. We have Animal Control Officer, Blairstown Fire Department Hose Company number 1, Department of Public Works, Police Department, Tax Collector, Township Clerk, Vacant and Abandoned Properties. Any discussion on any of these? You guys will obviously be reporting on the various reports in your committee assignments later on. Any discussion? Motion to accept the department head reports for the month of November.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? There we go. On to our consent agenda. 5 items tonight. If you have anything that you'd like to vote on separately, please let me know. We've got number 1, 2024-28, resolution to join and renew the fund. 2024-29, redemption of certification of sale number 2021-005. 2024-30, resolution in support of the restoration of passenger rail service via Amtrak between New York City and Scranton, PA, via the Lackawanna Cutoff. 2024-31, resolution authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute the interlocal services agreement between the Pollution Control Financing Authority of Warren County and the Township of Blairstown. And number 5, 2024-32, approving this past month's vouchers and claims.
Okay, Mayor, a couple things. Number 4, can we separate that one out, please?
Sure.
We can vote on that separately. And perhaps on number 3, perhaps you could read that resolution, since Chuck Walsh is in attendance and some other members who are obviously interested in this issue.
Yeah, it's very long. I'm not reading that.
All right, fine. We'll get loosen up. Real nice. Real nice.
But if Chuck, if you have any comments before we'll vote on that separately. Any last pitch? I think you know how we're going to vote, but anything else to say before we vote?
I don't know what to say. I mean, I just appreciate your support. That's all I can ask for.
Are you getting are resolutions being are coming up against the towns that are involved in this line, or is it not at that point yet?
Well, I think that since the station, of course, would be at Blairstown, you folks have the first. You really start the ball rolling, I guess is the way to put it, in terms of resolutions to support. Because if we were to go into, like I'm from Knowlton, if I go into Knowlton and say, well, I'd like you to support the, so forth, and the first thing they'll ask me, well, what does Blairstown think?
Right.
So that's
Well, make sure that you make a very valid point of saying that to them, like, yeah, Blairstown did this and they're the leaders, so you guys should follow along. Let's see how that works out.
However, I mean, with the leadership of Blairstown, to be able to sit back and say, you know what, once it is open again, and once it is available for passenger riders, guess what? It's a lot closer to drive from Bolton or from Frelinghuysen or from Hardwick to come to Blairstown than it is to go to Dover. So what the heck? think that those resolutions of support might come quickly afterwards.
So obviously Andover is all in, right? What other towns need to be touched upon for this in Jersey?
Well, I would say, I'm almost going to defer to I have Hank Lucas with me and Joe Capero, Blairstown residents, so I'm going to, I'd almost in a sense defer to you folks.
I did a quick analysis mapping out a 15-mile radius from the train station, and that includes not only Hardwick, Bellinghausen, Hope, and Knowlton, but also Stillwater Township, Freedom Township, Newton, Andover, even Hackettstown and Belvidere. They're all within 15 miles as the crow flies.
Right.
Roads, of course, different. But the idea is that what Amtrak is proposing is access to their entire system. So rather than having to drive to someplace like Dover, or even closer, having access right here, not only is convenient to the immediate vicinity, but it can do a boost to the economy of the entire area. It would be the only station in all of Northwest United States.
It'll be very interesting. I mean, in years past, if I wanted to go to the city to see a show, and I don't really like driving into the city, you try to get as close as you can, so maybe you go to Dover, but still, what a convenience it would be to just drive a couple, maybe a mile for me, and hop on a train. It would be something. It's a whole new world.
It's interesting to talk to some of the old timers. Well, I guess someone of my age or older that would remember. Now, I didn't live here at the time, but I talked to a few over the years. They seem to generally liked it when it was here. Of course, now we're talking about 53 years ago, so it's been a long time. But apparently, it was something. It was almost like it's a part of the community.
Yeah. It's not often conveniences are taken from us. In this day and age, everything has become a convenience. It's very, very odd to try to put a convenience back that used to be there half a century ago. It's an interesting concept, but you want to vote on?
Is there service west of Scranton once that goes in? Will you, in other words, if you need to go west from Scranton, do you have to go all the way to New York and then come back out?
There has been talk about extending beyond Scranton. That would be a future phase because Amtrak is only proposing to Scranton or Scranton to New York City, which is about 130 some odd miles.
But there's no connection currently into Scranton from the west.
There could be. I mean, there's been discussion. I mean, there's an active rail line, but it's used for freight only. There has been proposals to extend the service to Binghamton and maybe even Syracuse, New York. But that would be the next stage. I think we kind of have to get to Scranton first. But I expect that's going to come up because there's some fairly influential supporters for that, but they've been really waiting for this to happen because if this doesn't happen, it's all moot as what happens west of Scranton because you have to get to Scranton first.
That's on the CP you're talking about, going to Binghamton, right?
Well, the Norfolk Southern now used to be CP, yes.
Eric, I got to ask you, why would you want to go anywhere other than Scranton?
My daughter goes to college in Pittsburgh.
Okay, all right. I kind of thought everything ended at Scranton. Like, I don't drive out there that much. I just don't want to fall off the edge. So we will.
I'll make a motion, Mayor. I'll make a motion that to move consent item agenda number 1, 2, 3, and 5.
All right. We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Okay. Roll call, please, Crystal.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mr. Lohman?
Yes.
Mr. McIntosh?
Yes.
Mr. Orcutt?
Yes.
Mayor Moorhead?
Yes. We have number 4, 2024-31, resolution authorizing mayor and clerk to execute the interlocal services agreement between the Pollution Control Financing Authority of Warren County and the Township of Blairstown. Deputy Mayor Orcutt, you have some discussion on that?
No discussion. I'm just abstaining since I am a member of the Pollution Control Planning.
Okay, very good. Can we have a roll call, please, Kristen? I would need a motion to approve number 4.
So moved to approve 2024-31.
Second? All right. Roll call, Kristen?
Mrs. Lance? Lance?
Yes.
Mr. Lohman?
Yes.
Mr. McAtoy?
Yes.
Mr. Orcutt?
Abstain.
Mayor Moore?
Yes. Okay, our resolutions for discussion for 2024-33, various compensated appointments. And I need to find that letter, don't I?
It's under new
Is
business.
that a new business? There we are. Yeah, I got tabs. Mayor Moorhead, I'm writing you this letter to inform you that effective immediately, I'm resigning as Deputy Emergency Management Coordinator for Blairstown Township. I have a new role at Warren County, and I will not be able to provide the attention and commitment to the position that the township and residents deserve. I've enjoyed serving the township in this role for the last 12 years. I wish everyone a healthy and happy new year. Respectfully submitted, Calvin M. Inchko. So we really do thank Calvin for his service over well over a decade. And we'll make that, we have a motion to accept that resignation for Calvin Inchko.
So, I'll second that.
All right. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
All opposed? We wish you well, Calvin. All right, so the 2024-33, we have his replacement in there?
His
Brian Wall.
replacement, and then also the janitor for the fire.
Okay.
Custodian.
Very good. So, this guy, can you imagine him directing? Yeah, okay.
It's the town custodian, it's not. It's my ordinance, Mayor.
Do we have a motion to approve 2024-33?
So moved.
Second.
Let's do a roll call.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mr. Lohman?
Yes.
Mr. McAtoy?
Yes.
Mr. Orcutt?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
All right, on to unfinished business. Jones Farm, Charlie.
I spoke with Donald again today. We're pretty much in contact every week. Obviously, with the weather and snow, just before the last snowfall, I had sent him a picture of the building with no snow on it, and unfortunately, 2 days later, there was snow. So he is ready to go with the crew, but obviously, as he expressed today, as long as there's snow in that building, we're going to be up on the roof. So he's ready, willing, and waiting. We're just going to have to wait for the weather to cooperate. Like I said, we touch base every week, and it's going to happen. So whenever we get some good weather.
Very good. Looking forward to that. I mean, as I said this afternoon to you, it's not going to melt. The whole thing is still going to be there when it
When
warms
he's
up.
even able to come up, we're still no way up to Georgia with his crew. He said if we get good enough weather, he said, just give it a temperature as much as the snow. So even if we can get like 4 good days of reasonable weather, he'll come up, even if we get a start on it, we can back and finish it. So
Excellent.
we're looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Let's see, on to any other unfinished business before we move ahead? All right, on to new business. Speed limit sign request for Scenic Hills Drive. You responded to this, did you not, Walter?
I did not. I guess that's why it's on the agenda, but I'd like to get a letter back to whatever her name is, the email to us, and have the association, because she speaks about, this is something they bring up in the homeowners association over there, have the association make a request, and then we would just do it. I don't have a problem doing it. I think the 25 might be a little low, but that's, the association over there wants to do that, I don't have a problem. They're all landlocked in there, they don't affect anybody else.
Right.
It's their own little corner of the world, so, but it should really come from the association.
I'll send an email back.
Yeah, they need some sort of clause.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we actually have a sign to stop or something like that?
We may, but,
Well, your point's well taken. The state is very well written. It's a residential area. It's not, it's automatically 25.
yeah,
So if we have the signs and we can put them up for that, I don't want to go without that. Especially if they have them stop.
let's check that while we get a consensus from the homeowners association. If they want to notify.
Yeah, not just one person.
This week.
That makes sense, yeah.
The homeowners association would be back in office.
Understand, right, understood.
Right.
That's what I'm
Okay.
wondering about.
DPW clean soil delivery for backfill. That's what all our soil,
Yeah, I actually said, that's a client of mine who's also a community man in Frankfurt. I do contact him and say, oh, you know anybody, so I told him to check it out. If you're going like that, find something to do.
This has to do with the road work they're doing down on Route 46, and there's a lot of material.
Yeah.
I think it's the material under the material, and they're starting to stockpile it by McDonald's there, and there's a lot. Already, there's a lot. I don't think they're done, but, so, we're gonna get 100 loads or so. It's their trucking. I mean, they just have to get it out there. That's part of the deal, so. Eric actually identified, I wanted to stockpile it, but it is a lot to stockpile. If you guys are oriented on Sycamore Park, right? You guys, Lambert Road, and this is for Lambert, this is the bridge for Lambert Road. This section right here where that willow tree sits out in the middle, Eric wants to put it all there and feather off from the road out through this area and eliminate the guardrails when we do Lambert Road over. The guardrails, it'll just be one big grassy area there. And as long as it's okay with, and we think it is, as long as it's okay with David Deal as far as floodplain. There's also another reason to do it. Right here, in the middle, there's two big culverts under the road. Those culverts were there to allow the water to run from here to here. This was also a low property, but back in the day, George Zappa filled them all back in and became building roads. So that water can't go, those pipes go nowhere. They actually crawl down the pipes, you see, they're big, they're 4 footers, I think. But, so he wants to take those out when we do the road over.
that's funny.
If we're gonna do the road over, we'll do the road over, right, so take them out and then fill everything in. So, it's a good plan, and the dirt's clean, so we're good on that. And as long as we're not infringing on the floodplain, which David said it's called fringe area, and David told Eric at this point that it's okay, but I'd like to see David put that in writing.
Do you know if the culverts are being abandoned or being superseded?
It's on our road.
Here.
Are they transporting it for free?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good thing. Sounds like we get as much as we lose. I think
There's 500, well, David talking to all kinds of other people too.
it would be nice to stockpile a little bit if we have something.
Well, remember we talked about the topsoil that we're going to get, the silt from up by Paulina Dam, above the dam. We're going to get a lot of that this summer too. It's probably as much as we want, we're going to be stockpiling that. Or maybe that'll be topsoil for on top of this area, I don't know, we'll take a look at it at the time.
I would also say, whatever they need, anything extra, we'll take that job on.
Right, we can do that.
If they're talking to other people, it's probably smart to jump on them right now while they're still getting.
Well, that's why we told, oh yeah. You mean as far as the fill or the stuff from the Paulina Dam?
Bill.
Either way, I mean,
Because they're gonna look to get rid of it quick.
Oh, yeah.
No matter who takes it, they don't care about us. They're just-
the fact that we're only 4 to 5 miles out of danger.
Yeah, no, they like it. Even the dam guys like it too. They said, yeah, you guys are close. They have to get rid of that stuff. We stockpile right now, currently, we're stockpiling right up in here. This is all stockpile up in this area. Topsoil, fill, anything they take off construction projects. Not too much construction debris. The construction stuff, like old blocks and stuff, is up like, this is a salt shed. That stuff is all in here. And we will, at some point in the future, when the roof and the rest of the timbers at Jones Farm are done, and they work on taking some of the block walls down, I think, we're gonna bring a crusher in, probably in '25, bring a crusher in and crush up all the suitable, all that material and make a good base material for Eric to use, in a normal course of business for roads, et cetera. So, Eric's done a really good job of like kind of managing all the stuff that we're, that we end up with and stockpiling and keeping it separated.
That crushed concrete's expensive.
It's good stuff, no, you have to pay for it, nobody's giving that away.
I was paying $70 a load. It's expensive. So I have experience.
Okay. Any other new business to bring before the committee? Seeing none, correspondence. I like the shake your head. From the township attorney, what do you got for us?
I gave you guys my first report of the year, and first of all, Happy New Year, and nice to see you, new member. Pretty quiet. As Mayor knows, we had a lot of interaction with our very Blairstown host company, and luckily we got that resolved, here in housing, and satisfaction. Springhound litigation that Mr. Sherrill initiated has been dismissed at this time without prejudice. They changed attorneys, and it would appear unlikely that if they do file at Blairstown as a township, probably will not be part of the claims against us and make any sense. So that's good news. That'll also hopefully minimize any attorney's complaints. Because we're working on much work that we can done. That was all assigned to insurance defense counsel, but we do have to go. But luckily resolved without much work that had been done, so that's really good. I just made a note that there is an outstanding ordinance amendment. I'm still going to go around that, especially various kind of stuff. But we can work on it.
All right, to that point, would it be proper to direct you at this time, with the board's agreement, direct you to absolutely talk to Roger,
Okay.
and you guys get in sync on this?
Yeah,
So that-
sure.
So that whatever your concerns are can be conveyed better back to the land use board than Charlie and I can convey that.
Yeah.
And you guys maybe figure out a path, because the land use board is a little,
Okay.
a little concerned that like we're not doing anything with it. No, obviously we hold to it.
The conditional use standard is there, and I think the ordinance by and large is fine. So one criteria, we basically burden Kristen because we would have to come up with some type of a license, and it was conditional with a conditional use standard. And my own point was, that license issued after a county inspection, so what's the point? You know what I mean? So.
Revenue.
Yeah, they're in charge of $10. I mean, Kristen does have to go out of house, that was just kind of my thought. But I'll reach out, please.
Yeah.
If they want it, if they're happy with what it is, I'll do a little ordinance. If they're okay taking that one section out of land use, then I'll.
Just discuss your position with Roger. Makes sense, guys? Discuss your position with Roger. You guys come to a meeting of the minds, and then Roger will have it for the next land use board meeting, which will be before our next.
Yep.
Okay?
And the last thing, I just want to let you guys know, there was a tax appeal filed. For some reason, I didn't even know about it until the attorney reached out to me because somehow the tax court has, my father, Bob Bender, still designated as a township attorney, so I didn't shoot me to his email, it doesn't even exist anymore. But the tax appeal involved the Acme property. So when they reached out to me, I said, look, and you had a chance, it's still early January, so Richmond Court, our assessor, closes his book about June 10 or 11, which means up until that time, he can make voluntary adjustments.
January.
Yeah, January. So I had the attorney reach out to Rich. Rich and she resolved it. So Rich is voluntarily putting a reduction on the book, a partial reduction for this year, and then there'll be next year, it'll be based upon our ratio. Primary reason for the reduction basically is, as you guys know, the vacancy rate is pretty high. But Rich has been a long time assessor. It was a reasonable reduction. It wasn't catastrophic. I'm sure they're giving you a precise number. I just want to let you guys know that was happening. You didn't have to approve that because Rich has the authority to do that when he's only on his books. So that's been done. And I think frankly, that's a much better result than
The city and state tax court for 3 years, and getting a retroactive hit
Exactly.
4 years.
Exactly.
Really good.
And it's likely in the next couple of years, as people go to this, our E ratio is pretty bad. We're probably going to get more of a evaluation at some point.
Certainly be nice to know that every reduction of taxes there would mean that they'd start filling those vacancies, but
And if it does,
Yeah, it's-
if that does change, if there is a vacancy or a change, there's no freeze act or anything, so there should be free to appeal. And I think that's it.
Okay. I also want to just take a moment to thank you, Kevin, for, a lot of people don't see a lot of the back and forth that happens when, and I don't go to Kevin often. He's like the last big gun you pull out, and but when it's needed, you step in and handle the situation with such professionalism and grace and just some slick writing. I read that and I feel good. I feel good that Kevin's on our side. He did such a wonderful job with the Frelinghuysen fire debacle. It was really sliding out of control. When you stepped in, you righted everything, and it was resolved in a couple of days after your intervention. I thank you for that.
I really appreciate that, Mayor, and I'm a lifelong resident, really, up here, and I know back in Hancock, the days that fire department was my pleasure to help them with their volunteers, and really very amazing, so I was pleased to help, thank you for the compliment, and I'm really enjoying my role here with you guys, so thank you.
We enjoy you. Thank you, sir. From the township, where shake your head, moves things along. Let's go to the township committee member Lance.
Okay, so the finance committee met yesterday, we talked about a number of different things. The first of which, I'm going to bend your ear for just a moment and let you know that we have 2 grant opportunities that we're working on. One of them is for Main Street, New Jersey, for Blairstown to be able to be considered among the recipients for a certain amount of funds that work towards gearing up a community center, which we do have, and we're fortunate. There's not a lot of communities near us that do have a community center like that, but it will be in our village, and there's going to be included for different things like beautification, which we already do. We already have the garden club that does things, we already have the BBCs that does things, but the decorations that go up at Christmas time, on the lampposts and things like that. But we have said in the past that there are other things we'd like to do, and this would be an opportunity to use monies for things like pocket park, or things like refurbishment of the sidewalks, which we don't really want to do, but if it needs doing, it's nice if we can do that. So that's one thing. The other one is a different type of a grant that we're going towards, which is a local recreation improvement grant. We were made aware of it by our CFO. She said that it's very, very likely that if we do a credible application, that we will be able to get it. And it's got to be used for recreation. We are to a point where we really need that money for recreation. We're very fortunate in some of the programs that we're able to offer to our youth and to our seniors. The project that we would like to submit through this is one that we've talked about for some time, and it's basically a walking trail that will be around the perimeter of Sycamore Park. Guess what? We had it. Yeah, Walter, actually, you want to show some of the areas of what you talked about?
We'll probably, so something around the perimeter park. Maybe it would start in here somewhere, but we have to watch the DPW. But going around the perimeter, this is a really nice walk around here. It's quite a decent distance. And then we can go over toward the dog park and then probably back down in here somewhere and back on this side. Maybe we would come over this way and catch this area and come back. But pretty much around the perimeter of the park.
We've also talked about some of the paper. We've also talked about some other opportunities that are there. So not just to have the path wide enough, not just handicapped, accessible, 36 inches. No, we'd really like to make it maybe 4 feet, 4.5 feet, something like that. So 2 people could go side by side. Leave some bump outs for the possible addition in the future of park benches, things like that. We look at that as a passive recreation opportunity. It's on nice flat level land that's going to be used by seniors or by people walking the dog. We have the dog park right there, so there's just a lot of other opportunities that lend themselves to having that type of, facility right there. I have discussed it with Eric Logan to see if we have some opportunity to spend some time in the design. I think we'll be working with our DPW department. I think he has some time for me too, because the window of opportunity to submit is very short. We've also talked about having a pickleball court. We would have to figure out where we would relocate it. We talked about a couple of possibilities, but...
So our basketball, the new basketball, this was actually, it must be a picture from summer of 2022, when this was constructed. The basketball court's right here. I don't know that pickleball would be right here, though. It may be something we'd want to locate in the shade a little more, so a little different user group than the basketball. So we're going to look around the property and see if it's similar to a basketball court, a little smaller. Or maybe we get 2 courts, but we'll find a spot where maybe it ends up at the Legion Hall or something. It doesn't have to be on that property, I don't think, for the grant purposes.
No, it doesn't.
As long as it's on municipal property.
You can submit alternate proposals to the grant, by the way. It's a pretty simple application, you don't have to have a fully fleshed out.
Right, that's what we thought, yeah.
The biggest part of it is we have to have an estimate from one of the engineers.
Yeah.
That's not that hard.
No, it's not that hard. Well, that kind of got 100,000 last year for one of their parts. They're doing the same grant again. So, yeah, I think we've got an excellent chance to get a decent chunk of money. And it's all grant, it's not.
We don't have to have matching funds supporting it, Chris.
No, you don't.
What's the dollar amount on the grant?
Up to 75, I think, on this grant.
On this grant.
75 grants.
There's 2 grants. The one is up to 75, and the other one,
There's 2.
there's 2 grants. So one of them is this, the local recreation improvement grant. That is up to 75. The other one, I think, is up to 115.
What's that?
That's the one, no, that's Main Street.
Oh, that's the Main Street.
Yeah. So there's 2. So yeah, we're spending some time writing. So anyway, it's nice because when we talk about all the things that we just signed bills yesterday. So when we talk about the endless bills that come in and what it actually takes to run a town, no one likes to pay their taxes. Nobody likes to do that. But when you sit back and you say, you know what can we avail ourselves from the county, from the state, from anybody else that makes a better quality of life that does not cost us anything? I'm all over that. So there's that. The only other thing I wanted to talk about too is if you are a senior, a veteran, or a widow of a senior veteran, or disabled in New Jersey, there's different programs that you can avail yourself through our tax collector. And some of them are for low income, but others of them are for fairly middling income. It's expensive to live in New Jersey, and I think for a single, the minimum to qualify for some of them is as high as $89,000 or $90,000, something like that. So our tax collector, Carrie Womack, did a wonderful job, and she has a lot of information about that. Some of it is on the website. So beyond that, if you are in those categories and you need more information, you can call me. I will talk to you until you are, your ears fall off. Because I want to keep the seniors in Blairstown, and I want to keep them happy and living here. I don't want them to live someplace else. So yeah, that's about it. That's what I have to talk about.
I think I've said it before, in a different way, we want you to die here. So, question, paving is very expensive, and is this something that we could do a lot of the prep work for, put QP down, prepare the...
Let's see what the cost is.
Yeah.
So
Maybe it's a contract.
that's the thing, and if it comes in something more expensive than that, we certainly have the staff and we have the equipment, and probably will be having the underway in the not too distant future. So if it comes to do something like that, do we have to do matching funds? We don't. Can we do matching labor? Absolutely. Can we do matching for some of the materials that we're going to use? Absolutely. Could we fund the later benches through green communities? Absolutely. So it's one of those things where it's just we're at the convergence of a lot of opportunities. We just got to take advantage of them.
Very win-win. Could be a very win-win situation.
Sure.
Greenwich did that recently. And, it's nice thing about Warren County, Eric probably knows most of the DPW has. There's some different, of the DPWs having equipment And they did all, they came out beautifully. I think theirs is even like wider than this one. In that new park they have, right down there, off of Route 22, where they new stores. They do new park there, it's an extension. But they did that all themselves in-house with just a couple of different DPWs put together. So I think it's definitely good.
And I have to say, since we took the opportunity to improve the parking circumstance over the last few years, you have a great area to be able to have parking. There's not a lot of dust anymore, not a lot of, there's plenty of people here. You're not going to get stuck in the mud. It's very nice. When you have that in place, that infrastructure, and you can just add on and build a little something new every year.
For example, we had some extra oil and chip material, so we did a pretty good section of the road coming in. We didn't do it all, but we did a good chunk of it to use everything up. It really worked out well. And we'll do some more next year.
If you do a lot of the prep work, I think that'll free up additional money to make the path a little wider if you want to.
Yep.
Bigger and a little wider.
So, yeah, that's everything.
We do it.
All right, thank you, Karen. Committee member Loman, are you guys?
Yeah, Karen just touched on the senior citizens. One of the things that we were just talking about was possibly taking advantage of the county's program that they do over at Milton, where they're having a daily senior citizen lunch. It'd be nice if we could get something on some of the folks that are kind of stuck at home over there. So we're looking at that.
Is that for you? Your mug? Okay. You waited till I put the candy in my mouth and you went, I got that. Committee member McIntyre.
Okay, I don't have, unfortunately, our chief has been tied up the last 72 hours, he's extremely busy. So he wasn't able to do too much of inside what's going on. I do know that I've heard a lot of positive news about our new officer at Taka. Nothing but praise to the he's done with training. So he's been building up more than everybody's talking about for the start of so far. As far as the police, the one thing I will say when I look at some of the statistics, we had 34 medical assists, and I think there was like 10 fire assists. So we can go on and talk about law enforcement and crime and all that, but you know, when it comes to a fire or medical assist, they're priceless because they're out there, they're already on the road, and they're always the first responders. So, you know, a great job to them. As far as land use board, we have a new chairman this year. Bob Wall is going to be the chair, with Koski being the vice chair. We thank Steve Seekus for her service for 2023. He's still in the land use board with myself as chairman. As far as the court, there's nothing new. I know that the judge wants to come down and meet us because we shuffled around the dates in January. It didn't work out well, so maybe February or March we'll have the judge come down. He just kind of wants to introduce himself. As far as the ACO, for the end of the year service, there was the 32nd head over here. It says year-to-date call is 771. Let's back that up because 1 month in July it was 404 calls of service. That's the reports. What that was is he called every resident that had not registered their name in the previous year. So if we back that number out, we're looking at around 367 calls for the service for 2023. And that's about all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Charlie. Deputy Mayor Orca.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I'll report first on the DPW movement. We've had a very interesting month between flooded road conditions, then freezing road conditions, and then snow conditions. They've been pretty busy in the overtime. Aaron says they're getting a little weary. You guys are getting a little weary of the overtime. But from all the local residents, from everything I've seen on social media and in talking to people in town, they've done a great job. No one had any complaints. And you know, people aren't shy about complaining. And everyone's very happy with the service that the DPW has been providing. As far as finance, Karen talked about what we did at our subcommittee meeting yesterday, and we're keeping a very close eye on preparing ourselves and all the expenditures we're going to need to do in the 2024 or 2024 budget, and in order to keep keep the tax rate flat as we have promised the voters. There may be some adjustments we have to make to the open space tax, but it would be minor in the scheme of things. I attended the fire meeting with the mayor. I wanted to just echo a little bit what Kevin said before too about our local volunteer fire department. What a great group of guys. They do a superior job in every manner.
And ladies.
There, what?
And ladies.
And yes, Melanie. Well, they got a bunch, and actually they have quite a few now. A bunch of young females coming in. So, but I use guys as a very loose term.
We were holding you to your political correctness.
So there's that. When did that ever stop me? But everyone's doing a great job, and you know, we support them to the nth degree, and we will continue to do so. It's a younger crew, and it's very encouraging to see the younger generation so involved in the community service.
Volunteers.
Really impressive.
Amazing.
And that's pretty much, Charlie, I'll just touch on land use board too. There was a reorganization of land use board. We have a few new members on the land use board. And it's a really nice unit that we have there, folks working together. We have some things to tackle as we look at changes to our ordinances in town, not only our things like the kennels, but we're looking at some of the zones and things like that. And we're going to be interviewing for a planner, a municipal planner in the next month or so, so we can take a look at some of our zones, like by the airport, to make sure it's still appropriate after 10 or 15 years, to make sure some of these areas are still appropriate for whatever development may be happening in the future. And having said that, thank you, Mayor, for allowing me to make my report.
Thank you, Walter. Let's see here, water utility, no news there. Had the honor of swearing in the 2024 officers of the Blairstown Ambulance Corps. Great bunch of folks. So nice to see the volunteerism also there. They have a really difficult time getting new members, and when you do see younger faces there, you realize that volunteerism is coming back. It's still here. COVID knocked it down a bit, but it is definitely coming back. And also one of their members becoming our new deputy OEM coordinator, Brian Walsh. He has selflessly given his countless hours to this town, loves the town, and nice to see him stepping into that role. As far as Blairstown Hose Company #1, they had 24 calls for service in the month of December, 15 for Blairstown. A lot of structure fires. 3 in Hardwick, 1 in Frelinghuysen, 2 in Knowlton, 2 in Hope, and 1 in Stillwater. So they had a pretty crazy year. They had 380 fire calls for 2023, and we will support them into the new year. As far as anything else I have on my list here, nothing really to report. So, anyone else have anything to bring forward?
Mayor, I understand we need to go into executive session?
We do need an executive session tonight.
You need a motion to go into executive session?
I would need a motion for 2024-34, resolution authorizing executive session for contract negotiations.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. So we got to go into a quick. There will be action taken after, after our discussion. So we have to go into executive session now. We ask that everyone kindly step outside or take an early night. This is like. Hey, welcome back, everyone.
Hey, I would like to say
Just for reference,
Yes, sir.
we had an executive session to discuss contract, which would be potential contract to hire an outside third party to fulfill our control services. In doing so, we make that hire and we discontinue employing a third this year. Which Larry, just for the record, will discuss that with this year, and he's fine with us having this executive session. Again, this is not about this performance or anything, it's just about possible results. So I just wanted to get that on record. Having said that, following a discussion of executive charter agreement with promotion potentially to authorize the mayor to execute a contract with
It's community animal control policy,
the animal control will be for the
duration of
2024,
2024.
and I think the annual compensation is 50,000.
Correct.
So that's the motion.
That's the motion. Do we need to repeat it or?
No.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please, Kristen.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mr. Loman?
Yes.
Mr. McAtora?
Yes.
Mr. Orcott?
Yes.
Mayor Moorhead?
No.
Also, just in minutes, historically, it'll be Monday, since you can do so.
January 22nd.
Mayor, do you want me to, Mayor, do you prefer to talk to Scott or me first?
I can talk to him.
When he talks to him, he answers money sometimes, so
Perhaps you should.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. That was it. That was the only topic in executive.
Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
so moved, Mayor.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Let's call it a night.